Welcome to the Business Leaders Legacy Podcast, the show where we go behind the scenes of business leaders to uncover their vision, strategies, and challenges they face along the way. My name's Chris Bruner. I'm the CEO of Simple AI Solutions and the host of today's podcast. I'm excited to have Terry Linde, the owner of Destiny Management. Terry is recognized for his extensive expertise as a certified fitness expert, specializing in empowering executives and individuals to optimize their health, combat aging, and enhance performance through tailored fitness, nutrition, and lifestyle systems. Terry, thank you for being here. Can you please introduce yourself? Tell our listeners a little about you, your business, and the customers you serve.
Sure. Thanks for having me. My name's Terry Linde. I'm owner, president of Destiny Management, LLC, and been in the fitness industry since the early 80s. Went to school with health and fitness in mind, wanting to own a gym, and personal training was just getting started. So decided to create that as my business. But since 1987, been doing fitness training and then adding on to nutritional programming and corporate wellness and growing the business over the years, and gotten me to this point, evolved a little bit more with virtual programs since COVID hit. And that seems to be going pretty well.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is really cool. Yeah, it is. It is pretty wild to see. I read somewhere you have 35 years of experience, probably even more. You said 80s, and that is awesome. That is a lot of experience. I wanted to know, what do you enjoy most about helping executives and individuals achieve their health and fitness goals?
The most rewarding for me is seeing the progress. I know what health and fitness how it can lead to a higher quality of life. And what that means is completely individual. So it doesn't have to mean the same thing for everybody, but staying healthier, not getting sick as often, not getting the little nagging injuries and pulls from doing hobbies and playing with the kids and those types of things, but just how much of a difference it can make for helping a person lead a higher quality life. That's
Yeah.
very rewarding.
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting that you focus on um, executives. It's really interesting. You've identified that executives' lifestyle can be pretty hard on health with the long hours and stress and all this stuff. What is the single most important principle that guides your executive health program at Destiny Management?
What we've always gone with is anything is better than nothing. So if we get a person to focus on 5 minutes on a given day towards their health, that's so much better than not doing it. So it's not a matter of going, perfect for a few weeks and then falling off because of time, stress, whatever it might be, but getting the habits going and again, making it more of a lifestyle. So getting consistency every day and are using the motto anything is better than nothing, so educating them on how to fit that in and what to do for the 5 minutes. Just
Yeah.
one set of an exercise is much better than not doing anything for that day, and it all adds up over the year.
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense. That totally makes sense. That's really cool. That is interesting. It's just a little bit can make a difference. And so that's super cool. I wanted to talk a little bit about trends within the industry. What are some of the biggest changes you're seeing in the health and wellness space right now?
Probably right now the biggest has to do with like your wearables, the mirror type fitness systems, the AI, where people can have a lot of access to the information. It can still be overwhelming for them to have too much information or, not necessarily know how to handle or what to do with the information, but there's so much information and feedback with the wearables, the fitness apps, the AI type systems for people. And that's probably been the biggest change over the last few years.
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense. And there is a lot of information out there, especially, as AI is getting bigger and bigger, it is putting out a lot of information, but knowing how to use that information, knowing how to really do those and apply it in the right way, that seems like where where your expertise comes in and really helps. And so, yeah, I wanted to know any are there any like new tools or strategies, perhaps with technology and automations, even, on the health and fitness side, but even as you like run your business, are there any tools, automations, or things that have been helping?
The biggest thing is for myself is probably like some of the wearables, like your Garmin watches, the Apple Health, the fitness trackers, and then the apps, fitness apps that can take the information and give it back pretty close into real time. So for the user, certainly in real time. For me, I get sent information from clients as close to real time as possible, but it gives me so much more information on their habits, what they're doing, cardiovascular workouts, flexibility training, all of it together without having to wait until I meet or speak with a person. It just gets sent to me and I can analyze it and monitor their progress much easier every week.
Yeah. No, it is crazy with some of the technology coming out with some of those watches. Some of them are even I've got some experience in the healthcare field and I've heard people, where their watches are taking an EKG on them and and it's wild to see how it's going where even like I think some are even it's starting to experiment with like blood pressure and this and that. I'm like, it's crazy. But no, that totally makes sense. It really is making a huge impact in the fitness. Wanted to shift a little bit and talk about currently where you are at as a business. What is currently working really well at Destiny Management?
The main core principles are always the ones with the fitness and nutrition. So working with the programming and working with people, developing the networking, getting referrals. That's all, you know, fairly steady, and have gone in. So the current base that I've built is very consistent, and staying strong. So that's probably been the best things. It's just the current systems and fitness programming.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Every company, faces hurdles in one way or another, and faces challenges. Could you share maybe a past challenge at Destiny Management and how you overcame that and what did that teach you?
Probably the biggest challenge for me is being as there's two of us involved within the company. So trying to grow the company and work with more people. So the two options are either work with smaller numbers for, say, higher um, higher fees, higher charging, or
Mm,
work with more people for less and being able to get the word out and spread it.
mm,
So I've been choosing to try and get to more and more people, and the technology end of it has helped with that. But probably the biggest challenge is there's only so many hours in a day, and you can only have so many appointments. So, and working with people like in say different time zones. So
yeah.
whether 3 hours ahead or some maybe 8 hours ahead or whatever the difference might be, how to still be able to help those people and work with them with those types of differences and limitations on schedule. So, working with growing the company, employees, helping getting them trained and educated for being able to help people with what systems that I've put together over the years. Those types of things are always the biggest challenges, but then they're also how you overcome them.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. There's definitely, the growth strategy is definitely a huge challenge, but it's definitely a lot to learn in that time. So yeah, that's really cool. And with that, what just to dive a little bit deeper, are there like specific bottlenecks that you're facing as you're pursuing that growth? Are there specific bottlenecks that have been holding you back or that you've been specifically dealing with?
The main thing is this is scheduling. So I
Scheduling.
have my one-on-one appointments, and then that leaves only so much time for other avenues of the or areas of the business, like the marketing and bookkeeping and such, and I'm responsible for all of that. So you can only have so many one-on-one appointments during the day. So how do you go beyond that? And working with like small groups, and then that's where the corporate wellness comes in. So you can do things like group training, webinars, and get to a lot more people for the same hour.
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense. That's definitely a very interesting way to get to that growth and get to that outreach. Thinking about the future, right? Looking ahead, maybe like 6 months to a year, what are some goals that you're focusing on achieving at Destiny Management?
Right now, the our corporate wellness is our focus. So getting more companies involved and being able to get health and fitness programming set up within a company structure to get to and help more people lead that higher quality life is our main goal. So I'd like to see that growing with our fitness app, getting involved with companies. It's a very easy tool, and that way people can work out whatever they want on their schedule, and everything's kind of set up and designed for them, and I can monitor their progress very easily with the information coming back. So if something comes up, I make the changes, they keep going. So that's our biggest goal right now is developing more of the corporate wellness side of it.
Yeah, yeah, no, that totally makes sense. What kind, just to dive into that a little bit more, just thinking more of how defining that growth. Is there what like who is the ideal customer profile? Like who do you target in the corporate world?
Our niche for the wellness is smaller companies that can't afford a full on in house wellness program. So anywhere from like, say, 2 employees up to 500. So the smaller end of the businesses where they don't have the resources within their human resource department to implement and monitor a wellness program. So we can come in and do that for them, so they don't have to worry about it and monitor and track their ROI and see how it's helping their morale, their absenteeism, their workplace injury rates, repetitive stress injuries, those types of things, and how it changes them and how it can really affect their bottom line and show them the results of doing that.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. Especially, it really does help companies when you focus on that because, I've dabbled in I've like I said earlier, I have some experience in healthcare and just I've done process improvement projects on not exactly this, but on like workplace safety injuries and it is a pretty significant impact when someone gets injured in a environment, a workplace environment, and like the cost of that and applying a program like this would really make a big impact. And so that's really interesting. That's really cool. When you pursue I guess like the sales side of this, are you facing any challenges that you believe must be solved before you can reach that next level of success and growth?
The biggest challenge is finding the right person within the company. So the I would say the biggest challenge is the networking and getting the right contacts within the company to present what the options are and how you can help them. Outside of that, it's a matter of getting things started within the company and getting the buy-in from the people and the employees involved. So it's more than like just setting up fitness challenges and such are great motivational tool, but it's more than just like setting up a step challenge or a water challenge or something like that at a company, but it's trying to develop the habits of people and change that. And again, make everything fit into their lifestyle. And that's going to look entirely different for two different people.
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense. throughout our conversation today. I think a lot of our listeners hopefully would be interested in this and a program like this for their company. But if you could share a little bit, where can people find more out about destiny management and learn about the program, and perhaps find where to contact you?
Our website has all of the information. That's destinymgmt.com. And if they're in particular for the wellness programs, it's wellness.destinymgmt.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. To close, I'd like to ask one last question, right? Since this is the Business Leaders Legacy podcast, and you being the owner, founder of Destiny Management, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind?
I've always wanted to be kind of like known as a person to be sought after for health and fitness tools and systems. So somebody who's been in the industry, who's helped people get a healthy and fit, a healthier lifestyle, and just been known for being able to do that.
Yeah, and that's so important. It really is. It affects their life and changes lives. And so that's really cool to hear. Well, thank you so much, Terry. I really appreciate the insights you've brought. Thank you all for tuning in to the podcast. Again, this is the Business Leaders Legacy podcast. If you enjoy our conversation, please subscribe, and we will see you next time. Thank you.